So Wikipedia began with this idea for all of us to imagine a world in which every single person on the planet is given free access to the sum of all human knowledge. And that's what we're doing at Wikipedia. Next slide. So what is Wikipedia? Well, first of all, what I usually like to ask is, how many people here have used Wikipedia? Just about everybody. How many people here have actually edited Wikipedia? Oh, just a few. Yeah? I think more of the children than the adults. So that's good for the young people. So when people have just used Wikipedia and they've just come and they read something in Wikipedia, they may not have all of the ideas of what Wikipedia is really about. So the basic definition of Wikipedia is that Wikipedia is a free encyclopedia written by thousands of volunteers in many languages. And I'll talk about that more. Okay, next slide. So what do I mean when I say free access? Free access to knowledge. Well, I mean something more than just it doesn't cost anything. For everything in Wikipedia, we say that it's freely licensed, which means that you have the right to copy it, to modify it, to redistribute it. You can redistribute modified versions, and you can do all of these things commercially or non-commercially. So this is what allows people to do projects like a project that I recently supported in Argentina, where they're taking a copy of Wikipedia and putting it onto DVD, Spanish Wikipedia, and then distributing it to schools throughout Argentina, schools which are in poor areas and don't have access to the internet. The great thing about projects like this is that everyone can contribute. Anyone can do a project like this, and they don't even have to ask us for permission. We already give you the permission because we want people to take Wikipedia and redistribute it as much as you want to. So that's a really important idea for us. Next slide. When I say the sum of all human knowledge, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that Wikipedia is a summary. It's the basic information of all human knowledge. So there's a lot of things that Wikipedia is not. Wikipedia is not a textbook. Wikipedia is not a library. Wikipedia is not YouTube. So, for example, we don't have funny cat videos. I love funny cat videos as much as anybody, but they don't belong in Wikipedia. What Wikipedia should be is an essentialized summary of human knowledge written in a very neutral way to just give people the basic facts as much as possible. And we try really hard to stick to that concept. Wikipedia is not a place for people to come and share their opinions, like in a blog. If you come to Wikipedia and you simply start writing some opinions, people will say, what's your source for that? What are the facts? That's what we really are after. Okay, next slide. So today we have over 16 million articles. Next slide. In over 270 languages. Now, we say 270 languages, but actually the number of languages that have at least 1,000 articles is around 200. So I say 200 is really the number of projects that we have launched. And so this is really remarkable when you think about it. There are around 370 languages in the world that have at least 1 million speakers. And we're already in 200 of those, and our plan is to be in all of those languages. But as you can see, we still have a long way to go. One of the languages that people are always interested in is Chinese. It's important to talk a little bit about Chinese because it's been one of the more difficult situations. China exercises extensive censorship of the internet. We were completely banned for 3 years in China. Today we are accessible in China, but they're still filtering certain pages. So if there's some page that they don't like, they won't allow people in China to see it. An example would be certainly the artist Ai Weiwei, who was recently arrested. Another example would be the Nobel Peace Prize, because they were unhappy with the most recent recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And so China is still a very problematic place for us. But we made the decision a long time ago that we would never compromise on censorship. My belief is that access to basic information, basic factual information, is a fundamental human right in the same way that freedom of expression is a fundamental human right. And then, therefore, Wikipedia will always stand for people's right to get an education, people's right to get access to the information that they need. So in China, it's interesting. In almost every country all around the world, we are in the top 10 of all websites. But in China today, we're still only ranked around number 50 because of the fact that we were banned for 3 years. So we're finally catching up. What about the future? One of the things that we're really focused on for the future is all the languages of the world, all the languages of the developing world. And this is one of the more exciting things that's happening in Wikipedia. In many, many languages, languages that may not have a very strong written tradition, Wikipedia is providing a very strong place for people to document and write about their own knowledge. If we go to the next slide, we can look at a local example. So, Quechua, did I pronounce it right? Oh, good for me, I learned something. So Quechua language has, if we go to the next slide, we have a Wikipedia in Quechua language. And if we go to the next slide, we can learn some of the facts about this language and some of the and the Wikipedia. So Quechua, if we just click, you can go ahead and just fill in the whole slide because, there's about 10 million people who are speaking Quechua. There are several variants, but the largest is Southern. And as of this morning, there are 16,631 articles in Quechua. This is amazing. So the communication tools are really important. As we know, a lot of these revolutions in the Arabic world have been called Twitter revolution, Facebook revolution, because these communication tools are allowing people new ways to come together and protest. Things that in the past it would have been very expensive and very difficult to organize a large-scale protest that you would need to have some kinds of political organizations with good funding to get people to come out on a certain day. Today, this happens very, very spontaneously, very quickly. When people find something that they are offended by, they have a means to get themselves together. They can organize themselves and say, we're going to go and we're going to protest this because it isn't right. But of course, going out into the street and demanding change is very exciting, but it is the easy part. The hard part is building institutions. We need to think about how do we use the tools of the internet, not just to go out and protest and demand change, but also how do we build more effective government? How do we build more effective institutions? And one of the keys for this is that a well-informed, well-educated citizenry is the precursor to and necessary condition for any serious positive institutional change. If you have people who go out and protest and demand change, and they manage to topple the government, but they aren't well educated, they will simply be victims of the next tyrant who comes along. We should be very, very excited that all across the Arabic Middle East, millions and millions of young people are spending enormous amounts of time on the internet. They're reading political blogs. They're reading Wikipedia in very large quantities. And they're learning about the rest of the world. They're learning about what's possible to them. They begin to have the idea that, we can look and we can see what's happened in various places around the world. I can see in my neighbor country things are much better there because the people have real elections. And when the government's not doing a good job, they're forced to leave. If we feel we want to change of direction, we elect other people to be in there. This is the kind of thing that once people see it, learn about constitutions, they can read about this sort of, Lima Declaration here, which we heard today. 50 years ago, this would have been a declaration that would have been one small mention in the newspaper. It would be widely read amongst diplomats and leaders, but ordinary people would really not have the opportunity to read it and study it. Today they will. They will be discussing this in blogs today. It will be put up on the internet where people can reference it in times to come. This kind of engagement, where citizens are becoming engaged with politics, is incredibly powerful and I think a very exciting thing to have happening. And that's what the internet is bringing.